Hello and welcome. Today we're bringing you some of the most stunning catches you will ever see. Get ready for a fielding masterclass as we dive right in. We're starting off with a worldie in the slips from Harry Brook. During the one-off test between England and Zimbabwe in 2025, Brook stunned his captain Ben Stokes by taking a one-hander at third slip. Stokes' ball had zipped off the surface, taking the shoulder off the bat, and was now flying towards the deep third boundary. In a mind-blowing sequence of events, Brook pulled out a full-stretch vertical dive and caught the ball in his right hand. Not only did he have to move his arm across to grab the ball, his head was also going the other way. Makes you feel like he could have even taken this with his eyes closed. No wonder Stokes was in complete shock. A jaw-dropping take from the Englishman. Now for what might be the most important catch in Indian cricket history. The final of the 2024 T20 World Cup was going right down to the wire. South Africa required 16 off the last 6 balls, Hardik Pandya had the ball in hand, and David Miller was on strike. The very first ball was a full toss that Miller lofted down the ground. As everyone in the stadium held their breath, Suryakumar Yadav ran full sprint along the boundary rope to take a running catch. He then tossed the ball up in the air, stepped outside the boundary, and then ran back inside to complete the catch that eventually won them the World Cup. We've seen catches like this one before, so what makes this effort so special? The occasion. Just the presence of mind to pull this off in such a high-pressure situation is unbelievable. Catches don't just win you matches, they win you World Cups as well. Here we have a stunner in the slips from Joe Root. During the third match of the 2025 Test Series between England and India, Ben Stokes finally got the better of a well-set Karun Nair with his persistent line. The ball flew to first slip and was dying on Root, who dove low to his left and caught it millimeters from the ground. When you're fielding in the slips for a baser, the ball comes at you pretty quick. So to pull a one-handed catch so close to the ground, with your weak hand no less, is pretty special. Fun fact, with this catch, Joe Root overtook Rahul Dravid for the most number of catches in a Test career. The Englishman now has 213 catches in the 158 Test matches he's played so far. Not a bad way to achieve this milestone. Glenn Phillips is hailed as the best fielder in the world today. One look at his fielding efforts and you'll understand why. During a test match against Australia, he turned into Superman at gully and pulled out the most outrageous full-stretch dive you'll ever see. He flew to his left to pluck the ball out of midair, sending his teammates in the comm box into a frenzy. Just look at the acrobatics on display here. The best part is that he does this on a regular basis. His background in gymnastics probably has a lot to do with his insane agility, but if the great Jonty Rhodes is singing his praises, then you know this guy is the real deal. Now for some fielding excellence for Englishman Will Jacks. During the currently ongoing The 100, the Oval Invincibles man took a page out of Glenn Maxwell's book with this catch. Ollie Pope had just tried to go over the circle and a backtracking Jags dived backward, stretched out his arm over his head and caught the ball with his right hand while still in the air. What makes this catch so difficult is the fact that Jags went across with his right hand. The ball was actually going over his left shoulder. And then to keep holding on to the ball as he hit the ground, absolute stunner. Modern-day Windies legend Kieron Pollard has literal buckets for hands. Not only is he extremely reliable in the field, he's made a habit of pulling off the most audacious catches, a truly impressive feat given his humongous frame. Here we have him flinging himself to his right to gift fellow countryman Michael Holder a wicket. Standing at short mid-wicket, Pollard stretched out his right hand and caught the ball in one smooth motion before falling to the ground. He was clearly impressed by his own effort because he got up and ran off in delight. Even the batter couldn't help but smile as he walked off. Honestly, not much else you can do when you get dismissed like this. Here we have a breathtaking effort from English pacer Brydon Carse. During the 2025 ODI series against the West Indies, Saqib Mahmood found himself getting smacked towards the leg side boundary by Shai Hope. The ball was travelling and would have probably just bounced right on the boundary rope. Now, if Carse was right on the ropes, the catch might have been fairly easy for him, but the big man was standing a good distance inside, and to make up for that, he moved to his left and dived backwards, catching the ball with his right hand after it had passed over his head. Can you imagine how hard that is, to catch the ball one-handed after it's flown over your head? No wonder the bowler had his head in his hands, an absolute screamer from the Englishman. Faf du Plessis is another man who had a reputation for being a master in the field. The prolific South African batter made his way on yet another highlight reel when he pulled off this catch during the SA20. Running down the ground from mid-off with his back towards the pitch, Faf stuck out one arm to catch the ball from over his head. A full sprint, diving, sprawling effort that ended in utter delight for him and his team. Catches over your shoulder are never easy, but Faf made this one seem so simple. The positioning and timing here are off the charts.
And that is absolutely outstanding as a catch.
Now for a wicketkeeper who took to the skies. During the ongoing CPL, wicketkeeper Juel Andrew showed us his supreme reflexes by diving a good 4 feet in the air. Jaden Seale's delivery had flown off the edge of Rutherford's bat. Andrews dove to his left with such explosive power and timing that he managed to snaffle the ball in his gloves.
Spread your wings as a falcon does.
A ball that was surely heading to the boundary for 4. To make this catch even more impressive, the ball was flying way over Andrew's head when he caught it. The man took a literal leap of faith to keep his team in the game. That's supreme commitment and talent right there. Exactly the 2 things a bowler wants from his wicketkeeper. Alright, here we have India's Axar Patel plucking a literal rocket out of the air. During a 2024 T20 World Cup game between Australia and India, Mitchell Marsh whacked Kuldeep Yadav to the leg side boundary. And for those of you who've seen Marsh bat, when this man hits the ball, it stays hit. But this didn't seem to be a deterrent for Axar, who leapt up on the boundary and snagged the ball in his right hand before falling backwards. We honestly have no clue how that ball didn't take Axar's hand with it. Not only did this man prevent a certain 6, he also single-handedly dismissed one of Australia's most dangerous batsmen and gave us a highlight for the ages. Brilliant stuff. During the same tournament, South Africa's Reeza Hendricks was also involved in some superhuman acrobatics to dismiss England's Phil Salt. Poor Salt had absolutely drilled Kagiso Rabada's delivery to extra cover, only for Hendricks to pop up out of nowhere and bag a screamer for the ages. A full-length dive to his left with his fingers facing upwards and securing the ball in both hands while still in the air. And then he got up as if this was just routine for him. An extremely difficult catch to pull off, yet so easy on the eyes. This really was one of the most visually pleasing catches we've ever seen. And now for a stunner from Australia's very own Steve Smith. Obviously, the Aussies had to be in this video. No one is quite as brilliant in their field as these people are. Here we have Smith turning into Spider-Man in the slips. A full stretch dive to his right to take a one-handed catch off Pat Cummins bowling. Good heavens, just look at the agility on this play here. What's surprising is that the match was pretty much done and dusted at this point. The opposition was down to their last wicket and still had 118 runs left to win. But Smith wasn't going to let this opportunity go to waste, win guaranteed or not. And he did not disappoint. Aussies in the field are just a joy to watch. Here we have Kiwi legend Martin Guptill showcasing his own acrobatic skills during an ODI against Sri Lanka. After the left-handed batter top-edged the ball over point, Guptill ran outside the circle and flew across the turf. The result? Mesmerizing one-handed take from over his head that made the commentators lose their minds. It's hard enough to catch the ball one-handed when it's coming right at you, but to catch a high ball that's swirling in the air in this fashion? Simply stunning. We've shown you so many of these at this point that they might seem fairly simple to you, but believe us when we tell you, these catches are anything but straightforward. A video about some of the greatest catches of all time would not be complete without AB de Villiers. The South African Superman was not only a freak with a bat, he was just as unbelievable in the field. Agile, lightning quick, and extremely dedicated to ensuring he saves as many runs as he can. Here we have him pulling out all the stops during an IPL game against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Alex Hales's whack over mid-wicket was heading for a guaranteed 6 when AB jumped up and plucked the ball out of the air with his right hand. Forget about the catch for a second, just look at the jump. You'd think he'd played in the NBA before this. AB really was the smoothest of operators during his time on the cricket field. Just one look at Kohli's reaction tells you everything you need to know about how amazing this catch was.
There's nothing he cannot do. Actually, he's even impressed with that. That is an unbelievable catch.
And lastly, we have possibly one of the greatest catches ever taken during an ODI World Cup. During the same 2019 World Cup where Ben Stokes put on the performance of a lifetime to secure the trophy for his side, he did this during a match against South Africa.
Over his head. Oh, no way. No way. You cannot do that, Ben Stokes. That is remarkable. That is one of the greatest catches of all time.
After Endil Peplaquire slog swept Adil Rashid for what seemed like a boundary towards mid-wicket, Stokes pulled off the most outrageous one-handed catch you will ever see. He was standing a couple of feet inside the boundary rope, and in an attempt to get to the ball, he twisted his body sideways and dived backwards. The ball had already flown past his head, but Stokes turned into a proper contortionist and somehow ended up securing the ball in his right hand before falling over and taking a tumble on the ground. Peplaquire no doubt felt hard done by this bit of magic from Stokes, but given how great this catch was, he probably appreciated it as well. And there you have it, folks. Some of our most stunning catches from the cricketing world. As always, be sure to like and subscribe for more crazy compilations from the gentleman's game.